What's up, gamers? It's TreesapJake here with yet another video, and as you may have guessed, I am lucky enough to have been selected for Alpha, which means I get to test that and I get to show all of you guys out there. So today I thought I would talk about something that I've been wanting to do for a while and something that I said I was going to do, which is get really hardcore stuck into Evoker, the Devastation spec. That's the DPS spec. So today I'm going to look at the talents. I'm going to go through the talents and the breakdown of everything and what I think and my opinions on it. And then I'm also going to talk about them in PvP, so you kind of have an idea of what you want to do going forwards, what you might try. Now, obviously bear in mind, this is very, very early days. This is very early alpha, so any of this can change. There will be things that will be tuned, things that will be tested. So when we get to do proper PvP, I'll get really stuck into that and really kind of give that a go. But I can at least give you my thoughts for now. Something to bear in mind, obviously we're not level 70 either, so this won't be the full talent tree, though at least what we'll be able to get at some point. But let's get kind of like stuck in, and I'm going to show you kind of what I've gone for. So I've reset everything here. This is kind of what you have. You have obviously the regular general evoker on the left hand side and then your specific spec on the right hand side. I think you should have maybe about 30 points in each to choose from. I think you get about one on each go, so like one each level. So for example, one level you get more in the evoker, one level you get another in the devastation, so it kind of passes along like that. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there'll be more. So we'll kind of just talk about it. How it's sort of, in my opinion, kind of spread out is that on the left hand side where you see landslide is here, that sort of like earthen spike sort of looking thing on the left hand side, that is the DPS side of the general evoker tree. Down the middle you've got utility and defensives, so your general defensive stuff, and then you've got healing on the right hand side. So basically where you go down and where you kind of min max and kind of move things depends on how much healing you have output, your damage output, or your general defensive. So there's a lot to kind of get stuck into, and I'm going to kind of show you the bits and pieces that I kind of go and how I'm building my evoker right now. So I'll show you that, and then it's the same here with the devastation. I'll get onto that in a bit, but this is mostly DPS, but there's two aspects of it. Down the left hand side is mostly AoE. Down the right hand side, which is blue magic, so left side is red magic, blue side is blue magic. That is that's your single target damage. So obviously there are two potential builds that you can go for depending on what you're queuing into, what you're playing, whether it's Mythic Plus or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So obviously you start off with Landslide. Landslide is a really cool ability where you kind of launch a path of shifting stone that kind of roots them. Really, really cool. Interesting way of doing things. So what I tend to do is I go down here first. So natural convergence, which is disintegrate, which is a single target damage, channels faster, so you get more damage out that way. Then I always take this Forger of Mountains, which is the cooldown of landslide is reduced by 30 seconds. So I think that brings it down to a minute, and it can withstand 200% more damage before breaking. Now, when you're questing, this is incredible, especially if you're questing in AoE spec. It means that you can just AoE people down, big like packs of mobs together. It's perfect. It's really, really cool. So obviously that one there. Now here I take Quell. Quell is your interrupt. It's on a 40-second cooldown, but there are ways to reduce that cooldown. I think this is the perfect thing. It's just a good kick, you know, lockout for 4 seconds. It's a long cooldown for sure, 25 yards, so it's quite a long kick as well, which is awesome. So it's about the range of your spells. Pretty much all of Evoker's spells are 25 yards. It's a short range like caster, so the kick is on the same length. So as long as you're in range to cast, you're in range to kick, is what I kind of say. Energy regen, essence, regens 10% faster. That's your resource to use big damaging abilities. So that's pretty good. Recall is quite good. So when you use deep breath, which is that big sort of like firing off, like when you get up and fly and like you breathe across the thing, you can kind of go back to where you started. So it's a good way of juking people, juking melee, which is really cool. Then I'll take Obsidian Scales. This is your sort of like wall. And then obviously that's insane. This is also very, very important. Permeating Chill. Your damaging blue spells reduce the target's movement speed for 50% for 3 seconds. You can spam this. You'll have enough I suppose globals to do this. You can spam it. It's really, really good. Then I take the cooldown reduction on this to make it a 1.5 minute wall. Living Flame, want to do that, some more healing. That's your main heal as a Devastation Evoker. This is pretty cool. So you have two options here, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of the innovation of the talent trees. They have options. They're giving you options here. You can change your playstyle. Okay, so are you going to be queuing into things where you need to be knocking them back? Then take heavy wing beats, which is wing buffet's cooldown is reduced by 45 seconds. Bring it down to a 45-second cooldown. Or do you kind of need to knock? Do you need to like loads of things that's kind of doing lots of things around you? Like, are you in an RPG? Are you needing to sort of, you know, stop people from capping, tail swipe. So I'm going to take Wing Buffet because it's a really good way of stopping like casts and stuff like that. So Hover is another great ability, but Tailwind means that your first 4 seconds your movement speed is increased to 70%, which is about 40% more than usual. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to take that. Then I go down here, magic damage increased by 4%. Awesome. Stamina increased by 4%. Great. This is really good tip the scale. So you have empowered spell casting, which is where you kind of like, it's kind of like a sort of held down big attack, and you have 2 abilities that can kind of do it, at least in the tree so far. And this kind of makes some instant, so it's a really good burst damage thing. So press that. Then magic damage taken, that's by 4%. That's good. And then I go down to Blast Furnace, so I want to get more DPS. So Fire Breath instant damage is increased by 20%. As your strike hits 1 additional damage, so that's again cleave. Unravel, really cool, really good into like Disc Priests, into your Rep Paladins, to stuff that have like, you know, protective magic. So any absorb shields, even DK, this is perfect. It means that you can queue into DK and actually as a spellcaster totally and absolutely rinse AMS. So yeah, that's really good, but I'm not going to take it here because I don't need it for leveling. Leaping Flames, Fire Breath causes your next living flame to strike 1 additional target, so I'll do that. And then I take Terror of the Skies, which is Deep Breath stuns, which is basically like a massive AoE stun. So that's really good. So there's a few options. I've got 4 left. I tend to kind of move into here. You could probably take Cauterizing Flame, which is basically getting rid of Bleed, Poison, Curse, Disease effect. Really cool. You could do that. And then you've got a few options here. You can go Sleepwalk, which is an Incapacitate. So that's really cool. That's a way to basically like CC people. It's a really cool like basically fear CC, which I think is nice. I'm gonna take 2 here. I don't really need this, so I'm probably just gonna take we'll take this here. So Hover lasts a bit longer. You already have CDR on it, but it just like Hover basically is a really good ability for just being able to kite, so I'm gonna take that. Cool, so that's that. As you can see on the left hand side, it's sort of damage, on the right hand side healing, and down the middle you've got your utility, so your kind of buffs and stuff like that. So that's really cool. You've got some other options here. I'll kind of walk through them. Some of the big ones that kind of scream out to me is stuff like this, like rescue, fly to an ally and heal them for 16k. So you basically you can off heal if you wanted to. Then you've also got fly with me, swoop to an ally and fly with them to the target location, so you can kind of pick up and move people. That's a lot of big peels. Oppressing roar, this is going to be insane. Obviously healing evokers will mostly be kind of making the most out of these ones, but there's a lot of utility there. You can kind of change the build up. Yeah, so Oppressing Roar, which let out bone shaking roar enemies in a cone in front of you, increasing the duration of crowd controls that affect them by 50%. So let's say you get Kidney on there, you blast them that, and the Kidney goes up to whatever. So like that's how it works. I think the way that this works is that the CC has to be on already, and then you do it. So it's like an instant cast, like Kidney, boom, or Poly, boom. No damage, but it's just increased for ages. So if they've got no trinket, they're sat in a Poly for like, I don't know, like however long it is, 10.5 seconds. So that's a really long time. Some of the other ones as well is Twin Guardian. So with Fly With Me, you get an damage absorb for 30% of your max health for 5 seconds. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. There's a lot of cool things. I've got options here. You've got a lot of self-healing, Renewing Blaze, for example, like healing for you. Lots of cool stuff. So have a look through those. I'm going to leave them up here. I think there will probably be some, I'll probably try and link an actual link to them in the info so you can kind of take a look at yourself. But this is kind of what I'm going for. This is my build at the minute. Obviously I'm level 67. There's more to come, but I think this would probably be the ultimate build, at least for it. You know, at least for Devastation, there's some things that can work really well here for damage output, and depending on which comp you want to go in, you can change that. So moving to the right hand side, now a lot of people have been saying about Devastation is that it's got really strong AoE. However, I think its single target damage is a bit nutty. I did some builds yesterday in my stream where I thought, you know what, we'll try some AoE, but the single target is crazy, and I'm going to get onto it in a second, and I'll show you what I mean. So Pyre is pretty good. That's an AoE ability that can hit people. It uses Essence. Here you want to just max these out. I mean, it's just damage and everything. Your Living Flame has a 20% chance to cause Essence Burst, and Azure Strike has a 15% chance to cause Essence Burst, which is basically making your big Essence damaging abilities free, which is cool. So Disintegrate does more damage. That's a big single target. I go for, no, I don't want that. I'm going to move down here. So we're going to do these. So Pyre Essence cost is reduced by 1, so it makes it 1. Should be 1 essence at the end. Essence Burst stacks 2 times, which is cool. So here you have some options. You can either increase Deep Breath, but that's like a long cooldown. My opinion is you go to volatility, which is Pi has a 15% chance to flare up and explode again on a nearby target. That's cool. Dragon Rage, this is your big DPS cooldown. It does a lot of damage, and it kind of makes sure that Essence Burst always happens, so you have a lot of damage to kind of put out. So then I go here, blue spells do more damage, red spells do more damage and healing because that stacks with this, so you do a lot more healing. Then you can go down here, Eternity Surge. This is again like Dragon's Breath. Or Fire Breath, sorry. It's again one of those casted abilities that does a lot of damage. Here you're going to have some more options, so whether or not it can, it grants you Essence Burst on crits, or whether it reduces the cooldown of Eternity Surge by 1 second. It's up to you. But I'm not going to take that for now. I think I'm going to go to Charge Blast. Now this is the ability that is crazy. I think this bit, it hits really, really hard, and it has crit so many times and does so much damage. So you kind of want to maximize that. Let's have a look. So I'm going to do this. I think Living Flame dealing increased damage and more healing is good. So that kind of you can off heal yourself. We need to get a few more. I'm going to put Animosity, so Dragon Rage lasts a bit longer, so you have more uptime on that. Increase maximum essence to 6. Empower spells increases your essence regen by 50% last 2 seconds per empower level. So again, when you're using empower things, you can get that going. I'm going to take this so that we have Quell's cooldown is reduced to 20 seconds, so it's 20-second kick. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take Arcane Reverberation. You have the 2 options here. Charge Blast is 10% more and strikes 2 additional damage enemies. It's not, to be honest, you can make it AoE if you want, but I think this is way better. 40% chance to instantly reset its own cooldown. I've had it reset like 4 times in a row, and it just absolutely rinses people. So we'll take that. Take Eternity Surge and Azure Strike to hit twice as many people, so that hits that's quite a lot of AoE damage. Disintegrate increases your damage done to a target by 10% for 4 seconds, so that's pretty nice. And then Disintegrate has a 6% chance each time it deals damage to cast a level 1 Eternity Surge at your target. This does a lot of damage as well. When it procs, it's like a massive burst. I'm also going to take this, increased Azure Strike damage, and then here it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. You can increase the maximum level of your empower spells if you want to. You can take Firestorm, which is quite cool. That's like an AoE thing. Essence Burst has a 10% chance to not be consumed. You have a few options. My opinion is you could go Ruin. So you get, in my opinion, during Deep Breath and Dragon Rage, you get Mastery. Your Mastery is massive. I'm going to go into that in a second. It's crazy. And then here, probably go Tyranny as well. So you've got the maximum uptime as possible on your Dragon Rage. So those are the options that I'd go for. I'll apply them now. And that's what we've got here. So it means that there's a lot of options for your Evoker. I mean, just the damage output can be kind of crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get out there and kind of show you some bits and pieces. Before I do that, though, I just want to touch on the PvP talents. Now, we only have 4 to choose from, and you know what? Some of them are very, very good. So, to begin with, we've got Obsidian Metal. Obsidian Scales grants immunity to interrupt, silence, and pushback effects. That's pushback effects of, I'm assuming, Nox. So, like, Monk, Ring, Thunderstorm, etc., etc. It might even also be pushback on, like, spell. So like when you're casting and people hit you and there's a bit of spell pushback. It could be one of those. I think it's just regular pushback, but either way, it's basically like a Warlock shield on crack. It does a lot better than the Warlock wall. So that's awesome. That's really, really good. We also have Scouring Flame. Fire Breath burns away 1 beneficial magic effect per empower level from all targets. I think this is going to get nerfed, and the reason why, as my good friend Big Moran has already said on Twitter, is that you can instant cast do this and take away all of the Restoration Druid HOTS. They are completely and totally gone. Totally clean the character, very, very easy. And obviously the regular level 1 will just take away 1. So you've basically got an offensive purge too, which is, I think, really cool. So you have a lot involved here. Imagine playing this with a sort of a shaman healer or an elemental shaman. It'd be really interesting to just see how much damage you could put out. The next 2, however, are probably the coolest ones. So first of all, Time Stop. This is like an offensive cyclone that you can put on your ally. So freeze an ally's time stream for 4 seconds. Whilst frozen in time, they are invulnerable, cannot act, and auras do not progress. So aka, if you've got something bad on someone, you can delay it for 4 seconds to get maybe a heal back, or you can kind of basically ice block them if there's a big enemy go. Let's say they manage to get a kidney shot off onto your healer, they don't CC you as well, you can kind of give them an immunity in their massive go and kind of preserve their life until they can come out and press something. So that's awesome. I think it's a really, really cool ability. However, my favorite so far is Chrono Loop. Now, Chrono Loop is crazy. Trap the enemy in a time loop for 5 seconds. Afterwards, they are returned to their previous location and health. If this can't be purged, this is basically like a reverse alter time, a way to basically keep people in the same health that they were, and you decide when. So let's say your mage, you have an enemy mage who's really, really low, and he's about to get topped by a massive Serenity heal from a priest or something along those lines. Then you throw that on them, he gets topped, and then 5 seconds later, he's back down to where he is, and you rinse them. So yeah, those are the PvP talents so far. I'm sure there'll be more to be added. I'm sure some will be nerfed considerably, probably, but that's what we've got, and I think they're super cool. But anyway, now let me give you a little taste of Evoker. Right, I'll show you on this kind of elite mob here. This is kind of what my sort of go-to will be. So I'm like gonna, like, you cast your single target damage here, and then you root it here, Dragon's Breath into one of these, and then you can Sure Strike, Charge Blast, huge damage, pumping out all the time. I mean, do you see that damage there? Like, it crits just for 40k. It's incredible. And then one of those. Like you have huge single target damage here, in my opinion. Obviously, it's level 65, and I've got obviously a bit more gear and everything like that. But you can do some insane kind of damage, and I think that's what's kind of really cool about Drakthir, is that not only does it have really nice single target, it has incredible AoE targets. So maybe I can go find some AoE as well and kind of show you what I think, and then we'll talk about PvP. Okay guys, so in terms of the AoE damage, you can just do a lot. Like, for example here, like if I had Firestorm, you'd be able to kind of just root these guys and then Firestorm them here. But what I'll do is I'll just do this, and what you've got is they're rooted, they can't get out, so I'm just going to Pyre hitting them all, Azure Strike, Pyre went off again, and then you can just sort of just cleave them down. It's just one of those abilities where you just kind of get through mobs so easily, especially with this sort of this crazy sort of root that they have that just is totally unbreakable. 200% extra damage. It's like mass roots on steroids, basically. Cool. So I've kind of shown you a little bit of pieces of the Evoker, and obviously there's way more to come. But I wanted to talk about it in a PvP setting. There is so much that I think you can do in a PvP setting that will be insane. For example, you have a lot of kiting capability. You have hover, which allows you, which basically thrusts you forward, and then you can cast your spells. You can heal yourself, you can do other things, you can cast disintegrate, you can channel that, you're smashing people, you've got slows that are constantly up on them. I'm sure they can be dispelled, but they immediately get put back on. Yet melee are going to have a really, really rough time, and into any sort of caster, you're going to be in their face, kicking them, smashing them, stunning them. And if you're playing with, I don't know, like a rogue or a warrior, I think Evoker Warrior is going to be really interesting. You're going to have so much uptime on these guys, and they're going to be it's just going to be insane. And you can do a lot of damage, even AoE. If guys come into you and you get, I don't know, you're playing with a warlock or something, and they get Shadow Fury off, you're just cleaving people, absolutely cleaving them. And then when they come at you as single target, you can kind of absolutely shred them. I mean, all in all, Evoker has got absolutely everything you want. Plus, it's a dragon, and you get to fly and stuff. So I'll just kind of showcase a little bit, I think, my favorite ability of all, which is obviously the Dragon's Breath thing. Okay, so this is it. You've got the thing up here, and then you just go up into the air, and boom, 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 everything's stunned, everything's taking loads of damage. I mean, you've got so much range on that, it's insane. So it's really cool. So I think, yeah, there's some lots of options here that it makes sort of Evoker really cool, and I think I'm really excited to play it. I mean, you just do so much damage to things. All in all, Evoker is lots and lots of fun. And obviously, guys, if you want to catch me live doing any of this content, please do come and watch me live on Twitch. It'll be insane. See you there. Ask me any of the questions you like. We can brainstorm together, we can theory craft together. But I think I'm going to be doing a lot more Evoker content as it goes on, because it's just so fun. It's just so fun to chill around, run around, and everything like that. So and it does, don't let anyone tell you that it doesn't do insane single target damage, because it does. Even Living Flame is just, it's like, as a casted damage ability, it does so much damage. You've got insane heals. It's just really, really cool. Obviously, the only issue, I think personally, is the fact that it has got a really, really short range. So, but yeah, I mean, it does loads and loads of damage. You just press Dragon Flame, Disintegrate, Azure Strike. I mean, they're just dead. It just does so much damage. Obviously, they're a little bit lower level, but it just does so much damage, guys. Anyway, I'm having way too much fun. I'm going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed, please do give us a thumbs up. Please do let me know what you think. And yeah, just I'm excited to have the alpha and to be a part of this. But until the next video, see ya.